All right, Mountain View, it's Miss Rice. I am here to talk to you today about how to basically cook sweet potatoes on the stovetop by putting them in boiling water for about 5 minutes. There's a couple of reasons why you would boil potatoes. One, it's just a real simple way to have a healthy vegetable as a side dish. And two, you need to boil potatoes if you are going to make mashed potatoes. So first things first, some safety around using the stove. Always make sure that you have permission from an adult in your family and that they've supervised you using the stovetop before. Have everything that you basically need out when you're kind of planning cooking. And make sure that you're always using the appropriate oven or stovetop temperature. So some things that you definitely want to have handy are an oven mitt or glove when dealing with hot pans. For this, when the potatoes are done, you actually need kind of like a colander or a strainer to dump the potatoes into so that the water can drain out. And also, you need your potatoes and obviously a sharp knife to cut through the potatoes. You want to be really careful when using knives. And with the sweet potatoes, depending upon how thick they are, I tend to like to microwave them for 30 seconds to a minute if they're really big. It makes it easier to cut. And so I've already pre-cut all of my sweet potatoes except for this kind of little one right here. And I'm just going to kind of cut this into quarters. And if they are a lot thicker, you can cut them into even like 6 small triangles. Sweet potatoes are a great source of carbohydrate. They're a healthy starch. They are low in terms of sugar, even though they say sweet. They are very high in vitamin A and potassium, and they even have some vitamin B6 to them. And with the skins on, they've got a lot of healthy dietary fiber. So what I am waiting on is for my pot of water to start boiling. You can even add the potatoes in a little bit sooner than that. Before the water, just right before the water starts to boil, and it just might make them cook a little bit longer. So that's actually what I'm going to kind of do right now. So an easy way to avoid dealing with boiling water and getting things in like vegetables is to have them on a cutting board and then just kind of scrape them in with the knife, keeping the distance back. I can already hear the water kind of wanting to boil. And obviously, if you drop some on the side of the stove, not a big deal. And sometimes I maybe put a little bit too much water in, so it's okay to carefully scoop some of the water out if that's even necessary. So I am going to scoop some of that water out, but I will do that in a second because sometimes I often overguess how much I need. But I don't need that much out. So kind of watching me doing this on the fly a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because otherwise, it's going to start to kind of bubble over and you're going to have water kind of spilling out to the side. So that should be good enough. And what I am going to do is just as that starts to boil, I'm actually going to turn down the heat for a little bit and let it simmer. But we'll be back in about 5 minutes to see how this looks. All right, so I think these are just about done, but one way you can test carefully is to kind of grab one with a fork. And if you take it out on your cutting board, you should be able to kind of easily pierce through it with a fork to kind of like cut it up. And so I would say that yes, those are basically done. So what I'm going to do is turn it off, and I'm going to remove it from the heat just a second, but it's still cooking. I've got my strainer that I'm actually kind of put inside the sink. And I'm going to kind of see if I can turn this around so you can kind of watch me what I'm doing as I grab this. It's very hot. And I'm putting this in there. And make sure that you have something that you can put a hot pan on, like another oven mitt, or even just back on the stove top. But then all I'm going to do is give them a quick rinse with some cold water, and you will actually have some cooked sweet potatoes done to enjoy as a side vegetable or to mash up and have mashed potatoes. Thanks for watching.